so let's just start with that one. Which board members would be interested in serving on the delinquency committee?
Can I recruit somebody?
Of course.
Instead of just somebody I mean, it has to be somebody I know that's capable.
Correct.
I don't want to just have anybody who goes, oh yeah, I'm going to do, I know pretty much the people that are in our community and people who are interested in joining my committee. And I feel that it would behoove me to find somebody that, or I don't know, maybe somebody else in the board. We'll see how it goes. But right now we only have 40 over 90 days. So, looking at that is not as hard as it was, 4 years ago.
Okay. So let me just point of clarification here. As I understand it, the delinquency committee deals with people that are having financial delinquencies and problems, and therefore they're potentially subject to foreclosure, correct?
No, that's not the delinquency committee.
Explain the purpose of the delinquency committee.
Because sometimes they stay stagnant. Okay.
Well, what's the purpose of the committee?
To be on top of Gary Fields and make sure that he, processes the proper paperwork to we see a stagnant account. So we're overseeing the accounts to make sure that they're being processed properly, that they don't stay stagnant. And if we don't do that, some stay stagnant.
I agree. No, I understand. What I'm trying to understand, though, is I thought that we just talked about the fact that the delinquency can involve personal financial information that should not be disclosed to somebody other than a board member. Is that okay? So then, how are we going to recruit non-board members to serve on that committee?
No, right now it would just have to be maybe myself and one other board member.
Okay.
That would be it.
Okay.
It cannot be anybody.
And I would volunteer for that if that would be appropriate. If not, I can find plenty of other things.
I have a question in that regard. The Finance Committee financial package has the delinquency list in it, correct? So you are essentially already putting that information out to committee members. However, they did sign, obviously you should have a confidentiality agreement, which we did. I think I sent that to you. There is a confidentiality agreement. I think what Wanda is talking about, that list is just a list of the delinquencies, and it shows the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days plus. However, there is an access to Gary Fields' webpage, which shows all the further information that I think that would be more privy to a board member. Of course, it's public record anyway, but as far as from a board, you certainly don't want that to go to provide that information to the homeowners. I think that would be the information that you and Wanda, whomever on the committee are on. Now, if she wanted to gather another 1 or 2 individuals to help assist in making sure the 10-day letter, just following procedure, 10-day letter go out, did the 30-day letter go out? Is it a homeowner that has a financial hardship where they're reaching out to make a payment, set up a structure for payment? We have different payment structures going on, and they're not always consistent. It depends on the person's financial situation.
Right.
We usually review them annually. We'll make an arrangement and view. So these are little things I think you can get possibly somebody in the community that deals in financing or bank financing or somebody with that type of mentality that could assist with that.
So how is this not under the burden of the treasurer? I'm a little confused on why you would do
This is a committee that would make recommendations to the board that the board would act on as a whole. So if there is a decision that needs to be made, such as to initiate litigation against a homeowner for delinquency, the majority of the board would make that decision.
Or initiate a payment plan or something like
or,
that.
Or some type of settlement agreement, right? Yeah, I would like to get involved in that if possible. And my only concern, which I think is a valid concern, is that I want to make sure that we are not having or running into extraordinary legal service costs and legal fees. That's why I think it would be very important for us to continue as much as we can with your involvement. That would be great. Yes.
Good.
Yes. Okay. Let's work backward and let's start with the fun stuff.
Can I just make one comment? Sorry. The legal, with regards to collections, the legal expense is added onto the account and the HOA is reimbursed. So there's not essentially a legal, you might pay for certain things up front, but it's added to the account and then you're reimbursed.
Assuming
So yeah, but it does when the house sells, or you do get money, but you wouldn't be incurring any legal expense for what you're doing. You're only going to incur the expenses for homes that go over 90 days. Once they go, that's when they go to attorney. So you want to try to make arrangements with anybody once they reach that 30 days. Start reaching out to them and saying, do you have a problem? Is there a way we can make up a payment plan? I think that would be maybe the focus of the committee initially, is to try to prevent people from getting to that 90-day point where you have to, because as a board, you have to, it's your fiduciary responsibility to collect all
We
debt.
have to.
So
I
regardless
think-
of what the attorney's fees is, you have to, that's
I think the
your
action item-
obligation.
The action item that you just mentioned is important, and I think between Wanda and I, we could absolutely serve in that role and cover that. But I appreciate the comments about the 30-day keeping it from getting the legal services.
However, isn't that the management duty, I mean, to really hands out the bid?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be part of
It's like
the
you're
part of
not
the
giving them
committee's
any
work.
duties, you know, we're doing all their work.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of the committee's work. So, okay, so let's talk about fun stuff, and let's talk about some audience involvement on the social committee. Who would like to head up the social committee, or at least be a co-chair with a member of the audience? Francine? Excellent, excellent. She was nominated. I second that.
If you're doing
Okay.
social, then you're doing the annual picnic.
That's fine.
Okay, and the garage sale.
And the garage sale.
Okay.
Walk my
And
dog.
anything else we could do.
Anybody in the audience want to join Francine's social committee? Please contact her.
Awesome, we have somebody raising their
Yes.
hand. Let's
Be
take
great.
it.
Be great. Thank you. Be great.
I'll see you after the meeting.
Yes.
What's your name?
Our new co-chair of the social committee.
Sharon.
There you go.
Sharon. Thank you.
She's on the hearing committee too.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to communications committee. As I mentioned, Anita wants to be involved, but I do want a member of the board to co-chair with her the communications committee that would handle IT issues, website issues, content issues, publishing things.
I'll be like you.
Okay?
I'll be like you, yeah. Communications. I gotta back up to Peter's house.
Okay.
When it was called back.
Okay. Anybody else want to serve on the communications committee?
I want to be there.
Yes, sir.
My wife has a company, I live on the Greenwood Man side, she has IT company. She develops websites and applications and all those, so.
That'd be great.
I gave my card to Anita last meeting, so.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Do you have a name?
What's your name, sir?
Yes.
Ravi, R-A-V-I.
He lives 2 doors down. I'll give it to you.
Excellent. That's a very important committee. Thank
I'll
you.
give it to you.
R-A-V-I, Ravi.
And we're going to send this out in an e-blast soliciting additional members. Okay, so let me just explain to everybody in the room about ARC and about hearing committee. Both ARC and hearing committee, a board member cannot chair either of those committees for conflict of interest purposes. So that when ARC makes a decision or the hearing committee makes a decision, the board is not acting. And so if you have an interest in serving on either of those committees, please let me know or let Christine know, and we can put you in touch with the chair or chairs of the ARC committee and the hearing committee, and you can get involved. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew about those. We do continually need people with, time and energy, especially on the hearing committee. It can get long. We need people with like mediator type attitudes.
And you need backup,
Francine?
and you need backup, because sometimes people are on vacation,
Correct.
and
People are
there's
out.
timelines you have to meet.
Yeah,
So-
the hearing committees is very important because of the timelines and keeping things moving and violations and things of that nature is very important. That's not.
If we have I understand Francine just made a mention about staying on the hearing, is that correct? As a co-chair? Oh, she can't be co-chair.
Can't be on
because when
here-
the
can't be
chair's
on
out, she
hearing,
can't
yeah.
chair. Right, you just
Can't be on the
have to
committee at all. If you're on the board, you can't be
Yeah,
on
I
the
was gonna
committee
say,
at all.
I think that there cannot be any board action on
No,
either of
actually, the
those.
board cannot even comment or interact with
Correct.
anybody or any
And-
cases that have gone to hearing.
That's a very important point. And the board is not the appellate board of ARC or the hearing committee. That's the whole point, is to maintain some division so that they can act independently. So,
Are we allowed to sit in on this?
so we
No.
would need you to resign.
The property
from your
manager
position.
will sit on behalf of the HOA.
Oh,
That's generally
okay.
how it works at the hearing.
Okay, so we'll stay on point here. I just wanted to make that mention about the ARC and hearing committee because not everybody knew that information. Let's talk about the finance committee. Yes. Any comments or not?
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but if someone parked in the solar area, which is a fire code violation, they say I'm going to get one of us.
Is there anybody that's parking in?
I never saw any fire code signs out there, not the yellow signs, and there's no yellow striping, nothing at all. Why? I mean, I'll go move right now, but we need to do something about that. Because there's no signs out there saying no parking.
But we don't need to sign up to say.
And you're supposed to have a yellow stripe on the curbing.
If it's yours, can you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go move it right now. Here. Hold on to that just like that, please. Huh? Just put on my seat. You did a good job so far for me this past year. Yo.
The finance committee? Is there anybody on the board that wants to chair the finance committee?
Actually, I respectfully decline. We may be the treasurer whenever we opinion, so I think it will be unproductive.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me say something. We're trying to select chairpersons of committees here that are going to make recommendations to the board. I think that it's important, given, this is just my opinion, I think it's important given the level of unrest about the treasure issue. I think it would be important to have a different person chair the finance committee. Respectfully.
I would hope so.
That would be my position.
But if we can, I would have to do it.
May I make a comment? I know you're still selecting committees, but I'll make it very, very quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I honestly feel that the decision made by the board in selection of the treasurer is inappropriate. Jose Cabrera is an accountant by trade. Jose has been on the finance committee for over a year and has done a phenomenal job, very instrumental in putting the budget together, the reserve schedules together. And I think you guys made a huge error in not making him the treasurer. He should be the treasurer. He has been doing this for over a year on the committee. He is talented. He has very diplomatic. I mean, he's honest, he's trustworthy, and I honestly think you need to reconsider that. And the treasurer should be the chair of the finance committee, hands down. That's how it
I have
works.
to add something to that, please. I have to add to that because I felt that at the organizational meeting, the decision was made in haste. A lot of people were talking. I wasn't even given a chance to make a discussion because I feel that maybe some of the members might not
It was
know
pre-thought.
that
It was
we
pre-thought.
have an accountant on the board. I've been on the finance committee for 2 years. It is imperative that we have an accountant on the board dealing with the audit, dealing with reviewing the income tax for the association. This man knows what he's doing. He needs to be the one. I have been trying to recruit an accountant for years. Swear to God, I've been trying. They all say no. I don't want nothing to do with it. You know, too much trouble, too much, conflict. Okay, and I was not given the opportunity to speak about how we have a member of the board that is an accountant. We cannot have a person that's not an accountant heading the finance committee. You're dealing with the auditor, okay? The auditor will listen to another accountant and take their information and use it, and because he has the credentials to speak to him. He doesn't want to talk to a regular person, and I don't feel a lot of the members knew that we had an accountant on the board.
Right. Okay.
So that's
It's a point where I can ask her.
From what I understand, at any time, he can change those positions. So if the board does feel that strong, we put it on vote, then if KS remains, she remains.
Under the governing documents, and according to legal counsel, I have the ability as the president of the board to remove any committee member as the chair of the committee. So
I think we're asking about.
No, I'm sorry.
we're not talking about, we're talking about the committee right now, but you're talking about something different.
What I'm saying is what one is mentioning now. If the board feels that strongly that, for example, KS should not be in the position she's in, and it goes to the vote, and she's voted out, and Jose's put in, and it is what it is.
You're talking about an officer position.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yes.
Yeah, well, right now we're talking about the committees. As I said earlier, the issue of officer positions will be dealt with in the appropriate form. Okay, we're not going to deal with that tonight. We're going to deal with a committee meeting.
I just wanted to make that known that
Yeah.
just because the core positions are the way they are, doesn't mean they have to stay there.
That's correct. I can be removed as president by a majority vote of this board. Anybody that's an officer can be removed from that role. They can't be removed from the board through that type of a vote, but they can be removed from
Yes,
the
they
officer
could.
position.
Our bylaws provide for that as well.
It's not what Gary
I would
said.
like to address what was
Yes,
said.
Matt.
I'm just considering the distraction that this is happening.
Yep.
Why don't you guys make a decision?
You can't do it, because it's not on the notice. It's not on the agenda. But I understand the point, and I've gotten, and look, I've spoken with KS directly, not to single her out. I've received emails about Jock's issues. I've received your emails. They're being considered. There will be an appropriate forum for that meeting where action may be taken by this board at that meeting. But for right now, we're here for board orientation, we're here for selecting committees, and we're going to stay on task. Okay? Does it relate to committee hearings? Oh, it's not going to be delayed. It's not going to be delayed. But let's,
Because like with the landscape thing, when there was a big to-do on the landscape, we made a special meeting just to
we
address
can
that.
call a special meeting on 40 hours notice.
All right, so let's,
So please,
can
let's
we
stay on task.
please consider that?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I've served on the finance committee for almost all of the years that they've been in existence. I'm the only CPA that has served on that.
And you're volunteering yourself as a co-chair? Thank you.
Oh, we talking about landscape committee?
For the good of the board, can I have somebody volunteer to be the current co-chair of the finance committee?
Dan, I swear, I have such an issue, and I don't want to get off the agenda, and I understand how these people feel, but I felt that because people didn't know that he was an accountant, that they didn't vote for him, and I don't understand why KS was voted to do treasury. She's seeing stuff that is private, and I don't feel that she's earned that privilege. I think that a moratorium should be set.
I understand the concerns. It hasn't been noticed. It will be addressed. Let's stick to the topic.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I just
And
it's been building up, and I cannot move it.
Your email is consistent with the other information I've received. Okay? So let me ask again, the question again. Is there anybody on this dais that is willing to serve as the co-chair of the finance committee with this fine gentleman?
He's an accountant, and he's been working.
Absolutely.
And
I thank him for offering
and
to
a
serve.
lot of the stuff that she has said is so incorrect. You can vouch for it, and to have her looking at all the information.
So my
and
question
making
again, please. If we have a CPA that's on,
Can't we table finance, because what you said is that the chairman of the finance committee is usually a board member.
that's correct. That's correct.
And the treasurer. So, by all
The
means,
problem is, and I'm not familiar enough with the finance committee's agenda at this point. What I don't want to have happen is a month pass without the finance committee doing any work. And I can't have that.
Yeah, but what she's
So it
doing
has-
now is.
It's
I
not
don't
about
know what
her,
I'm doing now.
it's not about her right now. It is about the finance committee, is what it's about. Let's make a decision. Is there anybody that is willing to serve as the co-chair of the finance committee?
I am willing to serve as a co-chair of the finance committee. So either nobody else is willing to do that.
I think, given the concerns, I don't think that's a wise decision.
Can I make
By
a
the way.
comment?
But let me ask, is there anybody else? Okay, if there's nobody else, then.
Could you do an interim just for 1 month period, Jose, until you set your agenda?
Sure, I'd love for him to.
I'm
If you-
willing
For
to
just
do
a
it,
what,
but
so they set the next agenda and that's it?
I'm willing to do it, but as long as I have.
For a limited term.
For
For a limited term, yeah.
Hayes and I, we have differences of opinion.
I
So I
understand.
think it's gonna be very counterproductive for the association, for both of us to be in the same position.
But I think-
He's the accountant, she's not.
Are you willing to accept it for a limited term?
Like,
What do
as
you
soon
mean
as
I'm not
Hayes-